Welcome to this radio channel, and this is the outlook for this week in solar activity, and there's a lot of activity happening on the sun. So first of all, let's look at what happened this weekend. This weekend, when I did my little report on Thursday, I was mentioning that the coronal mass ejection was actually heading towards Earth. That could possibly trigger geomagnetic storms. We didn't really know how big the impact would have been. Well, it's actually been quite big. The K index actually went up to 7, so this was a G3 class geomagnetic storm. That means there was a lot of activity going on, and of course the shortwave bands suffered a little bit from that. There was a lot less to listen to, and it went through pretty much all of August 26th, yesterday. Partly, kind of started late on August 25th. So basically we had a weekend of stormy conditions, but it's slowly subsiding. You see here that K index has moved down to 3, so back up at 4 right now. We're going to see how it's going to go, but it might be a little better in the next 24 to 48 hours. We will have unsettled conditions from time to time because there's this big coronal hole opening up here on the sun. That means expect the K index to sometimes rise to maybe 3 or 4 from time to time, but in between these moments we should have good conditions, and things should quiet down compared to what happened this weekend. Now, what's very interesting on the sun is 2 sunspots, and what is especially interesting about one of them is sunspot number 2720 that you see here. This sunspot has a very unique feature. Its polarity is reversed compared to the other sunspots like 2719 here. What does that mean? That means this is the first sunspot of the new solar cycle 25 that's coming up. In between, when we're at solar minimum, when the 2 solar cycles meet, what happens is there's a mix of old and new sunspots from the old cycle and the new cycle. That means we've started to have sunspots for the new cycle, and that means we're slowly transitioning to that new solar cycle. It's still going to be, a time of lower solar activity, but it's very interesting to see that a new sunspot is here, and that's very cool. Apart from that, solar flux has risen to about 70, above 70 at least, thanks to these sunspots, and we're looking at what's going to happen with the sun, of course, but this is pretty cool. Here they have predictions for the geomagnetic forecast for today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. So you see here, G1 possible storming might continue today, but tomorrow and Wednesday, G0, there's expected to be kind of a lower chance of having geomagnetic storming. So quieter conditions on the bands on August 28, 29. So this is what's going to happen to this start. So a little rocky today, maybe again, but it should actually get a little better. Now, that's interesting because they just updated the info, and you see here we've moved back to a case of 6. This is geomagnetic storming again. So we are in that little period of time where we're still going to have some effects of what's happening with the coronal mass ejection, but things should quiet down as the day continues today, but mostly tomorrow and Wednesday. Conditions shouldn't be too bad for midweek on the shortwave bands. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up. Thank you for watching.